Welcome to the Azores archipelago. San Miguel is where we are, and just look at this. I can tell you the weather isn't quite this good. We set the bird up earlier on. It's the fourth round of the European Rally Championship. The clouds roll in off the Atlantic in this part of the world, and you can never be too sure just what the conditions are going to be like. Always exciting, we know that much. We're back on gravel, and we can't wait. Well, in terms of rallying, it doesn't get much better than this. 19 stages in total, at least on the bill. 240.79 kilometres of timed stages. We're about to get underway with SS8. You saw from the pictures earlier on that this lake is full. The reason is it rains a lot here. It's also extraordinarily green, and Robert Kubica, yes, a busy boy he has been. All right, he's got a good car, but he also happens to be an extraordinarily good driver. We saw that in Canarias. He was leading by over a minute before he had an upset, and he's just bossing at the moment. And the man who seems to be getting whipped is Jan Kopecki. Had a bit of brain fade. He said just getting his gravel head rebooted, essentially. But it was the course that booted him, unfortunately, on stage 2. Finished fourth then. He's been climbing back up the rankings ever since. A lot of local knowledge coming into hand. A multiple Azores champion, it's Ricardo Moura. He finds himself running in around about fourth place at the moment, hovering in that position with a number of other drivers around him. Craig Breen is one of those. Paul Nagel back with this green team, I think you might say, and they're running quite well as well. After leg 1, 11.7 seconds down, but very much still in touch. The cameras here, as you can see, are awash, so I'm not promising you too much from the aerial shots. We'll have plenty of drama on board. There's your start list. This was set earlier on in this rally. We had a qualifying. Stage 1 was actually cancelled. We then had a whole host of shorteners. Stage 2, 3 and 4 brutalised by the weather. We've had landslips, we've had just about everything. One consistent, it seems, is that Kubica and Kopecki and Craig Breen are running extraordinarily well, along with Dressler, Nagel, and of course Baran. So you'll see some Portuguese flags up there. You'll also be hearing from Guy Wilkes after the break. Pleasure to have him along board, and your good selves will be live around the lip of the volcano in just a few moments' time. Stay with us. Welcome back. Just ready to get underway here. There you see it, 16 Celsius, 82% chance of rain, unless you happen to be here, and then you know it's absolutely 100%. This can be a nightmare. It will be an absolute joy to watch. Jean-Michel or Michael Raux is about to get himself underway here. He's had been hovering around about the top 10 as we stand. He's had a couple of moments along the way. Guy Wilkes, this is always enthralling. Apart from anything else, it's just sheer entertainment for a rally fan.
Oh, absolutely. I'm quite pleased about the pictures, to be honest, because this stage is notorious for fog. On the recce, all the drivers have been complaining about how much fog they had to see through or try and see through to actually make the pace notes, so it's going to be very interesting.
Rauds Mazzotti counted in. And we're underway live here on Eurosport. Don't forget, we'll be live later on for another run-through here, and then we're live tomorrow for the grand finale. You can see from the surface here, it's very sheer in places because it's been compacted essentially by the rain itself. It's been hitting down, and there we are along the lip of this magnificent volcano. It's one of the most fantastic sights in rallying, this.
It is if you can see it. You don't see it if you're in the car, believe me. That is the view you get. You get trees, you get those banks actually have rock walls in them made of volcanic debris. It is an unreal place to go and rally, but if you want to see that view, you have to stop and hopefully not go over it.
Absolutely. A lot of mistakes can be made here. We've had a few errors along the way. Incidentally, Kubica winning absolutely everything that's been available so far, save for the last stage, stage 7. He finished third, so Kopecki took that with Moura next up. This is the profile of what we're dealing with. You can see there's plenty of rises and falls. There's virtually no horizontal straight plane that they have to contend with. It is the lip of an enormous volcano, prehistoric, you might say, but right up to the minute. Look at this. 108 Rauds on a mission as we join our pictures live right now. What's your coping strategy on a day like today, Guy?
This is action weather, isn't it, really? You know, it's rain. The surface here is so varied, it's unbelievable. There are actually tarmac sections on the Rallye, and there is in this stage as well. So very difficult, you know, when you're dragging mud onto the tarmac, to get your braking right on the tarmac sections with gravel tyres. As you can see, a corner like that, very heavily protected. There must be a massive drop-off there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's some concrete walls here as well. As Guy was alluding to earlier on, these banks look green. They're not anything but. A lot of them have actually been hewn out of the rock just to give ourselves a brief, what was once a pack horse route. Right now, let's get on board with the route.
Barrière, 50 mètres, droite-gauche, 120 en ciel, file le premier, 120 en ciel, file le premier. Voilà la barrière.
Amazing. Very brief bit of panic there as Routes tells Mazzotti just to wait. Presumably getting ahead of himself on the notes, perhaps. Said he was suffering from understeer problems earlier on today. In fact, very early on. He was down in the 20s. He's been in the top 10s ever since service, and so is feeling a lot more comfortable with the vehicle.
Confidence on these roads is absolutely everything in these conditions. Like I said about the difference in surface, it chops and changes from mud, packed gravel to clay, and the clay on these roads is absolutely lethal. It's like ice when you touch the brakes. A lot of different techniques you need to use in the stage, you know, things that you might use on the Monte Carlo, for example. In a stage like this where there is clay, you know, very ginger on the brake, and try and keep the car moving. Don't let it go neutral at any point.
Valentine is underway here as well. He with Stefan Kopchik. Yes, the German champion, said he doesn't mind a little bit of rain, and if you've got that in your brain right at the beginning, then it's a great coping strategy. Valentine can blow hot and cold. We'll see how he goes with his Skoda Fabia S2000, one of a number, of course. Peugeot 207 S2000s are also here, as well as the Fiesta RRC, which has been running well. And of course, in the hands of Robert Kubica, the DS3 RRC Citroen is absolutely singing. Well, the long view here tells you all you need to know about the rain. It has been blowing in. We've seen as well some mist. It's not a smoking volcano, I might tell you. We've had mist and we've even had fog. In fact, Jan Kopecki said that on the recce's he demanded a secondary chance. A big kick out there on the right-hand side. He managed to hold that well, Valentine.
It's so narrow, as you can see. You've got to be so precise in the car, and you're just trying to push all the time. You're fighting time. You're trying to make time in place when you can. But as you can see, the road's so narrow, and just when the rocks stick out of the bank, you don't want to hit them. You can get a puncher early on, and we can see the stage length there, and he's not far in at all. Hopefully he hasn't.
4.77 is going to be our first split, and then at 10.26 before the end of this run. It is a long one, Guy. 23.97 kilometres to be dealt with, and really there's only one route through this. It's so narrow, isn't it? There's not really that much opportunity to cut.
There's no opportunity really in this stage. There's a little bit when you drop down the bank. You'll see we're riding on the ridge, not the highest point at the moment, but we start to drop down away towards the sea in a moment, and down there the road gets a little bit wider, but again not much opportunity to cut. It does actually get narrowed in this as well. Yeah, and tyre-wise we're on board a Yokohama, of course. Valentine seems to be riding the surface well. Let's get on board with it. And as we do, we just cut away. Megalash is here. Now, if he gets his head together, he can be great. But he crashed in 2012, don't forget. Twice an Açores winner. So he's either full on or very much off. And let's hope it's not off on the peaks here. Well, nice to hear the engine doing its wailing there. The Skoda Fabia S2000, more or less built for this kind of terrain, but it's being bullied at the moment by the Citroen DS3 RRC. It is, but this is going to be interesting because Bruno is just getting his confidence back this morning. He's been out of the car for a long time, and he's only just managed to get his sponsors back together and back rallying again, really, and hasn't been on gravel for a long time, although he is a three-time winner of this event before. So he knows the place. It's just he's under pressure because he hasn't had the confidence from the start.
Direitinho para a esquerda, 3 mais. é boa. Vamos a direita, 4 mais a cedo, 20. Esquerdinha a travar para a direita, 3 mais 8.
I don't know if I saw marks on the road there, as if somebody had spun earlier. So somebody who started ahead of Bruno might have spun in the stage, but we'll see on the splits what's happening.
Absolutely. Megan, they're extraordinarily busy here, the hands. You've got to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's intense. He's obviously trying to push now. He's got the confidence. Doesn't want to make a mistake, as do none of the drivers, obviously. But when you're on the limit, it can be easy.
One blessing when you're driving on rock like this is the surface generally doesn't tend to be that deep, so we're not getting many deep ruts showing up.
No, like I said, I mean, the surface is generally good, although it does change frequently. Not this section. The lead-in is actually pretty much the same as what you can see as the car ahead of him, or behind him, sorry, Moura now, as he starts the stage.
Moura's been exceptional, incidentally. He has been running beautifully here. He's a multiple Açores winner. Now, this is local knowledge, and I expect this to be extraordinarily quick because he's got the length of stage to actually show what he can do here. And he's flying, you can see it.
The pace is up. You can all of a sudden see a change in speed, can't you? It's obvious.
Atenção, direita 2, fica logo esquerda 2. Direita 2, fica logo esquerda 2 com salto 20. Esquerda é lomba dos faros e fica para direita 2 mais 80. No caminho, direita 30. Atenção, direita 2, fica a travar para a esquerda 4 mais 20.
Wow, Moura is on a mission here. Second behind Kafetsky in the last one, ahead of Kubica, and he's showing that confidence. We'll take a break. Back live in a moment. Welcome back. You're on board with Bernardo Sousa. He's been running extraordinarily well as well. Save for one incident on stage 5 earlier today. First stage out of the box, and I've got to tell you, it was 4 minutes and 33. He lost an incident there on stage. A little bit less pace about him than Moura, perhaps, but it's pretty close, and he was close to Kubica in the last run through as well. Gave away 2.6 seconds to Kubica, who finished third as a rarity on stage 7. We're on stage 8 if you're only just joining us, and we're on the Açores. And I can tell you as well, we're on the lip of the volcano. Can't give you too many helicam pictures for the time being because the rain is just washing the camera for now, and the onboards are so spectacular. We've been riding with Sousa for some time now. Let's get back inside, shall we? Well, SATA's first run is what we're dealing with at the moment. Jan Czerny says he's here to have fun. It was anything but, I've got to tell you, on stage 5, where he finished 23rd. Coates is co-driver with probably the calmest note reading on the planet. Let's have a listen.
Lá embaixo. Esquerda 3, fecha a 4 mais e fica. Logo desde 3 mais, número branco, abre 40. 3 mais.
Well, it's not exactly a night-night story, but boy, oh boy, he's keeping his nerve here. They say it's the best seat in the house if you're a co-driver with a good driver, and Czerny's good.
Yeah, I don't understand Czech, Carl, but it doesn't sound too relaxed to me in there.
He's going for it. This is one of those transitions you were talking about.
Yeah, this actually, when I did the rally, was sand down here, and as you can see, this is one of the sections where you could cut the corners. They built the tarmac section in there since, and as you can see, there's a curve on the inside. Still got to be so precise, even when the road opens up, to be rather wide.
So the wheels clean themselves very briefly, and then it's straight back in. We've got mud here, we've got ash, don't forget, tarmac, big repaired sections as well. We're going over rock. We've got running water in places because of the heavy rain, which has nullified our helicam just for the time being. We saw it at the top of the show, but we're on board now, and I know a lot of you enjoy this, so we're going to just let you do just that. SATA, the weather is pouring down. I've got to tell you, the rain is pouring down. We've had all kinds of conditions to deal with, not least fog during some of the recce's. Robert Kubica alluded to it earlier on today, said, you know what, if you don't let me do a proper recce, I'm going home. So they let him have another recce.